Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and to this list spam video, which is a list building video for Bagration German. So this is actually the last of the German books I'm recording because I've already done the Bulge and Berlin books. So if you've been waiting for the other ones to come out, these ones are already out, so you can watch them straight away. All the lists are 100 points and they're taking more of an attacking stance. So if newer players, you might find it a bit easier doing that way. But we're working our way through the book. I'll try not to show things that we've seen in the other books, but I will show the main unit from each formation. So let's get stuck into it with the Grenadier Company. So the Grenadier Company, the biggest difference between them and what you saw in Fortress Europe is these guys have to have Panzerfausts now, including the HQ. So it's a bit annoying. But we have two full platoons with mortars, and they're kitted out quite a lot with Panzerschrecks, Panzerfausts, and heavy machine guns. We also have some Marders. The Marders are back. We also have our 221 and 222 scout troops, some Pumas, Vesps, and 3 Tigers. The 3 Tigers, probably combined with the Pumas, is bang on 40 points if you need the reserves. So the Panzer Grenadier platoon, careful, confident, last stand 3+ veteran. What we've seen so far in Fortress Europe. So you can add up to 2 heavy machine guns and up to 2 Panzerschreck teams with these guys. And obviously they come with Panzerfaust. There's a few command cards that upgrade them, so we can have them as reserve Grenadiers. So you get 2 points off for these guys, making them aggressive, confident with a counterattack 3+. They're also green and have a tactics of 4+. You can have them as a Jaeger company. So basically they have a terrain dash of 10 inches. Another type of Jaeger company where they get mountaineers, where they can just go over cliff things easier. And then you also have an SS Volunteer Grenadier Division, the 1st Estonian. So they're aggressive, fearless, trained with a 3+ tactics, and that's at -1 points for that one. Okay, next up we have the Storm Grenadier Company. So it's pretty much the same really as your Grenadiers, apart from they have MG42 teams rather than rifle MG, so they're basically Grenadiers with a better rate of fire. But we've added a few extra things into the formation, so we have our 12cm mortars. So kind of really think of the Storm Grenadiers as Panzer Grenadiers that you can attach heavy machine guns to. Again, we have our Marders and our Tiger Puma combo with the SD KFZ 250 scout troop this time. And there we go. So as mentioned, these guys have a better halted and moving rate of fire because they're MG42 teams. Otherwise, the stats are identical. And again, you can upgrade you can give 2 extra heavy machine guns and 2 Panzerfausts. Okay, so we now have the StuG Assault Gun Company. So basically no StuHs as their own unit like the Fallschirmjäger ones here, but we do get an escort platoon, and this is one of the few units that doesn't have Panzerfaust, but you can't give them Panzerfaust either. They can also be a unit of 9. Again, we have the Puma Tiger combo, but we have some Vesps this time, and the Panzer III OP. Okay, so the StuG is pretty much the same as we've seen it in all the other books. Just it's careful, fearless, counterattack 5, veteran, assault 4+, good front armor, guns good on it. You can have StuHs in a unit, so there'll be 2 StuGs and an StuH. But remember, rate of fire in the machine guns ain't as good, and they don't like doing cross checks as well as your other tanks will. Okay, so we have the escort platoon. So these are actually got STG-44s. And otherwise their rating is the same as others, apart from they hit on 2s in assault, which is nice. So you can have unit of 10 or unit of 7. And they also have the tank escort rule, so basically teams can shoot while mounted on an armoured tank team, but this is maximum 1 team per tank, and can dismount when charging into contact. So not bad overall, but remember, if they are riding on your StuGs and the StuG takes a hit, everything on the StuG also takes a hit as well, so be careful. There is a command card for the StuGs, so it's the 3rd and 5th SS Panzer Division SS StuGs, so it's +1 point per StuG, basically changing their motivation to Fearless 3+, Counterattack 4, Remount 2+. Okay, some new kit now. We have the Hetzers. So we have 12 Hetzers in platoons, taking us up to 14 Hetzers in total for the formation. We also have the Puma Tiger combo again, and some light scout troop, the 221 and the 222, and we have a lucky card. So unfortunately, no infantry, but we have quite a lot of tanks for late war Germans. So we'll have a little look at the stats on the Hetzer. So the Hetzer tank hunter platoon is careful, confident, counterattack 5, last stand 3+, trained with an assault of 5+. So bit not too fast, so tactical 10, terrain 12, cross country 18. Not a great cross check on a 5+. His gun is the same as you'd find in your Panzer IVs and your StuGs, 8011, 3+ firepower, but it is forward firing and overworked. But with its armor of 3, kind of also makes it a StuG, apart from the overworked. But another thing you'll notice, it only has 2 MGs. So it's going to be quite tricky to deal with infantry with these guys, but they can deal quite well with medium armor. Okay, so we're back to the Tigers, fairly similar to the other list, apart from we have verbal wins this time. So I'll show you the stats on the Tiger next for a few seconds, but we've seen it every book so far and it hasn't changed, but we will have a little look at the verbal wind. Okay, so the verbal wind is an A unit. Usually I use it to anchor formations to give it another unit to keep them alive. It's not too bad dealing with infantry. Obviously, ideal purpose is going against aircraft, but it is front 3, so not too bad. Careful, confident, counterattack 6, last time 3, veteran 3+, and assault 5+. Okay, next we have the Panther Tank Company. So we have some Panthers, but now what we can have is an armored Panzer Grenadier platoon with them, so that'll just solidify the formation a little bit more, and we also have some verbal wins. We have the light scout troop again, Vesps, and we also have 2 8.8 centimeter AA guns. But we do have a Panzer Division rebuild card here, so bear in mind you oh no, you can use it because I'm using it for the formation. Just basically gives me 4 points back to use something, and the Panzer Pioneers is for the Armoured Panzer Grenadier platoon. So we will look at that command card in a bit when we get on to the Armoured Panzer Grenadier platoon, but we know the stats on the Panther. We've seen it every book. Again, nothing has changed. It will only change in the Bulge and Berlin book when the armour goes up to 10. One thing to note though, there is SS Panthers command card, so it's +1 point per Panther tank, and that basically changes them to Fearless 3+. You can also have a command card for Panther and Panzer IV tank company, so basically it's 4th Panzer Division camp grouper, so basically you replace the Armoured Panzer Grenadier platoon with a Grenadier platoon or Panzer Grenadier platoon. So if that's more your kettle of fish, there's an option there for you. Okay, so the Panzer IV company, so like the Panthers, we're getting Armoured Panzer Grenadiers in the formation now as well to help out. So we have a bunch of Panzer IVs, verbal wins again, Marders again, Light Scouts, Vesps, and a Panzer III. And again, we're using the 16th Panzer Division, which we will have a little look at, and Pioneer platoons to get us some points back from our formation units. So again, no change to the stats on the Panzer IV, but we do have some command cards. So we do have the 3rd and 5th SS Panzer Division, so SS Panzer IV's card. So +1 per 2 or part of the 4 Panzer IV tanks, becomes Fearless 3+ and a 2+ remount. And we also have the 19th Panzer Division, no respite, so this can be used on Panther, Panzer IV, or any Panzer Grenadier company. So basically you get -1 point per unit, and they become confident, but with a last stand of 5+. Okay, something new again. We have the Panzer 470 tank company. So Panzer 470, we'll have a look at their stats. We have quite a few of them in formation, with some armored Panzer Grenadier platoons as well, and Ostwinds this time, which we'll have a look at. No room for artillery, unfortunately, but we do have our light scout troop, and the 16th Panzer Division is being used on them to downgrade some stuff, but so we can actually squeeze in a few things here and there. Okay, so the Panzer 470s, careful, confident, counterattack 5, and a last stand on 3+. It's veteran 3+, and assault 4+. Front armor 9, but be careful on the sides 4+. 4 and top armor 1. So very similar to the Hetzer. Not got a good cross check, but it has got a fairly decent gun, 80-14, so the same as the Panther and the Tiger. Front armor is the same as the Panther and Tiger. Does make it a little slightly cheaper because of the other reduced stats, but this is a tank hunter, guys, and make sure you try to use it as such because it's not particularly good against infantry. Okay, so the Ostwind is basically a chunkier version of the Wirbelwind. Its armor is a little bit better on the front and side. Careful, confident veteran. Last stand is a 6. Last stand is 3+. Counterattack is a 6, and assault is a 5+. And is a few less shots, halted and move in, than the Wirbelwind, but the anti-tank is better, being a 7, and the firepower is 4+. So this one obviously used against aircraft, decent against infantry, and also lightly armored vehicles as well. Okay, so the armored Panzer Grenadier platoon of Bagration, like the Grenadiers, you have to give them Panzerfaust, but the good thing now is they can have armor within the formation. So if you've gone for Panzer 470s in this case, we also have some mortars, 7.5cm gun, flamethrowers, and add even enough points for the light AA platoon. And we've got some scouts, more artillery in the form of Vesps, and a Panzer III OP. And finally, we will be able to have a look at the 16th Panzer Division rebuilding card and mention other formation cards that this formation can use. Okay, so the stats on the Armoured Panzer Grenadier platoons, the same as we've seen before. So before we get to the 16th Panzer Division card, there's a few other upgrades for them. So we have the SS Panzer Grenadiers, the 3rd and 5th, so +1 point per unit, they become fearless. 20th Panzer Division is NCO shortage, so basically for -2 points, basically they become confident 4+ with a last stand of 3+, but a counterattack of 5+. They still are veterans, but their tactic is a 4+. I do prefer the 16th Panzer Division to this, so it's basically -1 point per unit. They're still veteran, but their tactics is a 4+. I just don't like sacrificing the counterattack. And they also have Panzer Pioneer platoons attached to 1 unit. So basically, the infantry cross minefields in a 2+, and they dig in on 2+. And I completely forgot I actually took photos of the command cards anyway, but here they are, so you can read them for yourself. But these are the ones I actually used in this formation, and not the other ones I mentioned. So, like the armoured Panzer Grenadiers, we get armour in our formation as well. So, other than the foot sloggers, we also have an armoured Panzer Grenadier platoon as well, and Panzer 470s being the preferred option. And we also get our flamethrower half-tracks. We have some Marders backing them up this time because we had plenty of points spare, and a light scout troop. And again, it's the 16th Panzer Division, so we can get all those points back. And now we have the Reconnaissance Company. So we have 2 mounted up elements, so the HQ and Reconnaissance Platoon. Again, remember these guys need Panzerfaust as well. We have some Pumas in formation. The Puma 7.5cm gun, mortars, more 7.5cm guns, and more 7.5cm guns again. And backing them up, we have some Tigers to have something a bit more than 89. and so basically the armored, or whoever you want on the day, the Panzer Pioneer platoon card again. So I didn't mention on the previous slide because we've seen it all before. We've seen these before as well, but I quite like them. Any thing that puts a 7.5 centimeter gun on it is quite cool in my eyes. Does get a bit better in the Berlin book, but there we have. So the best thing about them is they've got scout, so you can get them into a good position, nice and close without firing, and hopefully you don't get a hit. But there we go. Okay, so here we have our little scouty companies that you can field out of your build formation. So you have your half-track scout company. So it's the 250 scout troops, which I like less than the 221s. But you can have the SD-234 guns with them and one reconnaissance platoon. And the Puma is basically the same makeup again, but it's up to you to use them. And now we have one extra build formation. So the 653rd Heavy Tank Battalion, so basically it's elephants. So basically 1 or 2 elephants for 15 points each, 2 to 3 platoons of elephants, and you can have 0 to 1 of the 7-1 quad AA platoon, which you probably would have 1 or 2 anyway, just to anchor the formation, although they are quite formidable, which we'll have a look at later. Okay, so support units that we've used in the video and other ones which new or haven't seen for a while. So we have the Marder. It looks slightly different now to Fortress Europe. It's quite nice. It's a nice cheap tank unit. So obviously you can have 4 of them for 16 points. AT-12 still not too bad at this point. Obviously it is careful, which is good. The armor, obviously, as soon as it gets hit is going to die, but it is confident veteran. But remember, it doesn't like counterattacking or assaulting. So not seen since Fortress Europe, the Hornies. So it's just the big crazy version of the Marder. Stats pretty much the same. Careful, fearless, veteran, but they're fearless, which is nice. Armor's a little bit better than your Marder, but the big thing it has is that whopping AT-17 gun. It does come at a cost, so 4 of them will be 32 points, 3 is 24, and 2 is 16. So you can either have 2 Hornies or 4 Marders, it's your choice. But remember, what you're hitting with it, it's just going to be the firepower that's going to be stopping you killing stuff. And now we have the elephant. So remember, you can build a formation of these, although you're not going to have many. So like the Hornies, it has a big gun, but it also has the big armor to go with it this time. So front armor 16, not much getting through there. Side armor 7, still not much getting through, but it's vulnerable. But top 2, meaning, yeah, it's quite impervious to most stuff. Careful, confident, counterattack 5, still has a last stand of 3+, and a skill of 3 and assault 4+. And as you can imagine, it's quite slow, but has a decent cross check. Now, the cost. So 1 elephant will cost you 15 points. So you can either have 2 Hornies or 4 Marders for that, but you'll save a point. And basically, I'll go to the top. So 4 elephants costs you 57 points. So that is 57% of your list if you're playing 100 points. Okay, so a new unit to the book was something I don't have, will never use, and I've only ever seen once on Panzershaw's channel, and that's because Jacob from Lack of Foresight wanted to use it. So basically, it's kind of like your Nebs, but in an armored shell. So it's careful, confident, veteran, and as you'd expect for your SP gun stats, front 1, side and top 0. So basically, you can't get pinned. And there you got your salvo weapon there, but it does have MG, so it means it can defend itself. But it comes at a cost. So 2 of them are 8 points, but you don't want 2 because you don't have to re-roll your hits. 4 of them is 16 points. So basically, the more expensive of your artillery unit. But bear in mind, it's only 4+ firepower and 2+ anti-tank. So you might want to be taking a little bit more hitting power, but it can fire a smoke bombardment. So that is it for German Bagration, and for me, the German list spams because the other 2 are already done. So we, since we've already done the mid-war British book, we'll be going to Fortress Europe British, and building lists of the 4 formations that they have.